Hey guys, it's Jeff. This week's Film Favorites gets awarded to Primer, a science fiction movie released in 2004. So, Primer is a movie that was written, directed, produced, pretty much everything by Shane Carruth, who also plays one of the two main characters in the movie, Aaron, alongside his friend Abe. Abe is the character's name. And what they're trying to do as entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurial engineers, is they're working in Aaron's garage to try to electromagnetically reduce the weight of objects, but while experimenting, they accidentally discover time travel. And when they're working on this machine of theirs, the way that they discover this is that the amount of loops, whatever the machine is doing, the amount of loops that it's doing, sometimes it does an uneven amount and sometimes it does an even amount. And they discovered that, it's creating this like temporal loop inside of this machine that they created. And eventually they create a bigger box, human-sized, and their ultimate goal is to get into the box, go back in time, play the stock market so that since they have future knowledge of what's going to happen in the stock market, they get in the box, go back in time, invest money in that stock market and try to make money that way, having that future knowledge. Which ends up coming with some consequences. But first, I want to say that this movie only had like a budget of $7,000, which is like crazy low. But it was like an amateur film at the time, and now it's kind of become this like underground cult classic type thing. And what's really cool about it is that Shane Carruth, who plays Aaron, is an engineer and has like degrees in engineering and like mathematics in real life. So all of the language that you're hearing in the movie is pretty authentic, and he chose not to dumb it down for, audiences to like create more authenticity for the movie. And I really appreciate that, because this is the type of movie that requires several different viewings to really like grasp everything that's going on. It benefits you to watch it more than once if you're interested in that type of thing, so that you can catch things that they're referencing. You're like, okay, I get it now, I see it, and you can catch little visual clues on what's happening. It's really great. I've seen it several times, maybe like 4 or 5 times already. But the way that their time travel works is it happens in like real time. So they don't just press a button and then they get transported back into the past. What happens is they turn the machine on for when they want their day to start in the past. They'll turn the machine on, get in the box, wait, let's say like 6 hours, and then whatever their original versions did during that day, they try to avoid what that original version of them did. So like if I said, all right, I'm going to time travel today, what'll happen is I'll go out of my apartment, I'll drive to a hotel and try to make as little of a footprint as I can. So they just go from point A to point B. They drive to the hotel, they're there for 6 hours, and they unplug the phones, they unplug the computer, they do everything, and they don't try to influence the outside world at all. And there's a good reason for that, because then they drive from the hotel to the box in this warehouse that they rented. They get in the box and they go back in time 6 hours. So they're waiting in the box, sleeping for 6 hours, and they come back to the point where their original self is going to the hotel. So as they're driving through the hotel, their original selves are waiting in the hotel, and while they're waiting, they're not influencing the outside world. Abe and Aaron are playing the stock market and influencing the world out here, because they don't want to influence the world here and here because it would cause too many problems. And they don't want to influence the world here as the originals, because if for some reason they make a mistake as the future self, it would be called symmetry breaking. So if they made a mistake, which Aaron ends up accidentally doing, he keeps his cell phone on him when he goes back into the past. And instead of his original self getting that phone call, he gets the phone call and answers it and says, oh crap, I just broke symmetry, meaning the original Aaron and Abe aren't going to be on the same trajectory as they just did 6 hours ago. So that original the original Aaron was supposed to get the phone call, but instead the future one did. So now when they make that mistake, now instead of, going back in time and doing whatever they need to do, that Abe and Aaron are kind of branching off and doing their own thing. And now they've got two different versions of themselves, which isn't consistent. And they have to try to figure out a way to like fix that, trying to control their original selves, but while, trying to keep existing themselves. And it ends up resulting in, friendships being strained, and they try to outsmart each other, and they lie to each other, and they have like these fail-safe boxes that they've turned on so that if anything happened to like make a mistake like they just did, then they could go back to the beginning to prevent it from happening. But then the other one lies to the other one and has already gone back, and they try to outsmart each other by going back first. And then this one, I accidentally, I went back first and I didn't tell you. And, so it's just like this big, just like a bundle of yarn that's just in a big knot of like these time travel loops that they go in, and they keep secrets from each other, and and by the end of the movie, it's just this big like, oh man, they're in so much trouble because like 2 or 3 versions of themselves end up existing at a time, and they don't know how to fix it, and they get themselves even deeper at that point. So this is absolutely a movie that you should pick up. It's not for everybody, but if you love science fiction, and if you love time travel like I do, and if you like watching movies, several times to try to get to the bottom of all of its secrets, then this is one that you should definitely pick up. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next Film Favorites video. Bye.